Welcome, friends across the world. It's good to be back. And do we have a Wednesday show for you? As always, we'll try to be positive and obviously very British in our views. However, the burning question we're posing for everyone is Magic Kingdom still magical? Join the live chat, share your own views, as this certainly does promise to be the wildest ride in the wilderness. Although, I must say, at least we're open for business, and that's not. Welcome to the Great British Mickey Waffle Live.
Now my wheels in motion and my windows open with the wind blowing in my hair. I'm driving down the highway, gonna do this my way. I can feel it in the air. Here I
Welcome everyone, and thanks for joining us either live right now or on the catch up on YouTube, indeed on the podcast version of the show, which drops into your podcast playlist on a Friday morning. I'm joined by Ben and Becca, who know that they'll have their hands full to avoid me having a rant from the outset tonight. And I'm definitely not going to have a rant. I'm going to be positive-ish. I'm going to do that. How are you guys anyway?
Yeah, we're good. I was just going to let you rant, to be fair.
If I could get it out the way now, by the time people have tuned in a few minutes' time, by the time the notifications come up on YouTube or just
It'll be
skip the
over.
podcast, like ranting's done. But no, we're going to be positive.
Yes.
We're going to try.
I think we have to. Yeah, I think
I've got the right beverage for tonight just in case. So
there you
I'm on
go.
the cider. So
that's always a start, isn't it? Like, it's tell how long the week has been. It depends on what drink you decide to use for the show on a Wednesday night. I'm on the cider as well. I think it's been a long week. When you're away and like time completely flies.
Yep.
And yet you come home, you're back at work, and it's just like every week is like it gets worse. Anyway, I won't start on that one because it's just far too depressing. I know where I'd rather be. So
I think I post for something on our Instagram page. If anyone's not following us, we're at GB Mickey Waffle on all the socials. But I remember on Sunday posting just a picture of Epcot, I think it was, or just I know I'd much rather be there than in the UK.
Yeah, I think that sums it up perfectly. It really does. I'll tell you what we'll do. And before we go totally into the show mode and things like that, we're gonna pick up on little bits because the past couple of weeks, once we come back from holiday, we missed a little bit of Disney news and stuff like that. And I quite enjoy starting the show with that because it gets us up to date and up to speed with what's happening. But you have both got a little bit of a challenge ahead in the next couple of weeks as well, haven't you? So we'll do a bit of plugging, and then we'll do a bit of news, and then we'll go for the rant. So I'll loosen myself up a bit, So tell us what you've got.
Yeah, so coming up on the 27th of September, we are going to be in London, walking 20 kilometres, raising money for the Multiple Sclerosis Society.
Superb.
Hopefully, we're going to have some proper British English weather, and we won't need the umbrellas.
Fingers crossed. As long as it doesn't rain, I don't care what the weather's doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a cause that's quite close to us. And we did it last year, and we've set a personal best. So now we wanted to see if we can beat it this year.
Oh, that'd be great.
But what I'll do, I'll put the Just Giving link in the chat.
That'd be great because actually,
so on our show notes.
And then we'll
if you want to donate, feel free.
Yeah,
we appreciate
that's it because it actually is such a good cause, and I think for you guys, especially, it's something close to your heart. So
yeah,
for those that don't know, I have MS. If anyone's wondering,
and the sneezes and the tiredness that hits you, which you can't actually stop whatsoever. So
I
think it's really important that people know that you're actually doing this, and I think that's such a brilliant thing that people can actually support and things like that. So I think
so if for those who've got a pen and paper handy, the link's on the screen, but I'll put it in the show notes as well so that people can click on it. And if you want to donate, even if you just share it out, that means a lot to us.
Yeah, no, brilliant. Second blatant plugging. I'm just waiting because a massive aircraft's just overhead and we're not on a flight path. That sounds.
That's always a bit
That's ominous.
worrying.
That's really, yeah. I might check. If we go quiet, I'm on flight radar in a moment. So on Monday, where our latest podcast was out, and it's a Waffle Junior production, and I've got to say, what an engaging and actually inspiring listen it was. Helped by always by nice guy Zach Brown, providing his cultural attaché advice in abundance. But Josh and Morg really, they give you a completely different perspective. And actually, they're already planning their next show, which is really good because actually, yeah, this one was. Yeah. I've got to say, normally I'll listen to podcasts and I'll fall asleep halfway through, and then I'll listen to the next. I actually couldn't stop listening. It was so good, and they take us to the Bass Pro Shop. They go to the Waffle House, which is always well worth a listen. And what was really nice was the fact that the response to the show notes that Josh had put up, and then some of the posts that Morg's put up as well on Facebook and also on the Waffler's Arms, the interaction has been so brilliant. It really has, and I take my hat off to the two of them because, in some ways, I think we're trying to work out. They've probably been on about 5 or 6 shows over 6 years, but they are absolutely naturals. Yeah. And so I was more taken by the fact that they make it seem completely effortless. So,
and I remember editing it before and we went on holiday, and I remember listening to them going, "This is a really good show." And then it was like, I just reminded when it went live on Monday that I'm going to listen to this again. It's like, it's made me think that we need to have a visit to the Bass Pro Shop. Not too sure on Waffle House, but
well, it's really funny.
I wasn't even sure what the Bass Pro Shop was.
Yeah. Oh dear. I think there's plans afoot between Josh and Morg to get Claire in there as well. So that'll be fun. But the funny thing is, they actually touch upon something that I know will come up in the next podcast as well. So, when you think of things and you're talking about them, and this was like this happens kind of completely by accident. So I'll keep everyone waiting. But the good people of Winter Garden get mentioned twice in 2 podcasts, which is quite something, and completely accidental. Although maybe we should say we did it on purpose, because actually, we were thinking that far.
We're organised.
Yeah, that's it.
It's all part of the plan.
Somebody's plan.
No,
might not be our plan.
Exactly. Right, so that's the podcast, and we've been a little bit out of sync in the past 2 shows. I know we missed many people in the chat last week because actually I know that people have caught up and things like that about our trip and also about Epic, but we actually knew last week there would be quite a lot of spoilers for many, so we do apologize for that. Be assured there will be no spoilers in this one. You can be glad to hear. But we're going to start with some Disney news because we haven't done the news for a while, and there's been so much news.
Yep.
So shall we play the news one? I'll go into Ron Burgundy mode when we come back in.
Perfect. I'm ready to play the video.
All right, so there we go.
That video works so perfectly for those listening to the podcast on a Friday.
Absolutely. Yeah, it wakes them up. That's what it is. or if you're at the gym, it's like, oh, the news is on. That's it. I'll put your music on. Anyway, I'm going to start with some sad news, and actually news that came today from Animal Kingdom. They announced the passing of Gino, the 44-year-old Western lowland gorilla. And I've got to say, I was really saddened by this, because not just because it was always one of the great things to actually go and watch on the trails, and I know that those people who've worked in conservation at Animal Kingdom, they spoke so highly of Gino and just so passionately about him as a gorilla. And again, if you've got Disney Plus, go back and watch. I can't remember what the name of the series was.
Magic of Animal Kingdom.
That's the one. And he gets a show all of his own. But some of those cast members were absolutely incredible. So,
just a huge part of the park. I just, every time we walk through Gorilla Falls,
I'm assuming, I don't know for certain, but I'm assuming he's been there since opening.
Yeah.
He has been there 30 years. So
Wow.
again,
You know,
I
it
think,
was an opening day attraction.
yeah, and I think that again makes it a little bit more sad as well. And
Yeah.
you know, I know. Again, I know we've said this in the past that some people might not even know that there's animals that actually still reside there.
Yeah.
But to be honest, it actually, he's out. He's lived a fine life. I think he's fathered something. 14 offspring.
14.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's
3 of which I think are still living at Animal Kingdom.
yes, and that's
if memory
again.
serves.
That's where you move that whole thing on, and you can actually see what they're trying to do, and actually the whole conservation bit. Don't shoot me down. I know some people don't like animals being kept in places, but we'll move on from that very quickly. But yeah, I'll start with the sad news, and then we're gonna hit it with the absolutely incredible news.
We should stick with Animal Kingdom, though. Definitely.
Stick with Animal Kingdom, and we'll because friend of the show. And she was so thrilled with this. She actually had sent me a little video about 2 weeks ago of actually unboxing this thing, and she just didn't know how to react and respond properly until this week, which is really, really interesting because I know we'll get Katie on the show again. She wants to come back, but she's become a true friend for all of us, and actually.
Yeah.
We were so thrilled. Just the news that she'd been given the Legacy Award. And that was on top of, and I know we'll probably come back and talk about Grayson later in the show. Now, Grayson, who plays piano at Casey's Corner, also had this award, but he put his stuff straight onto socials. Yep. So people had known for about a week about Grayson. And yet Casey had sat and just held her time. And then when it came out, it was just, oh my word, it was such a brilliant thing. So 2 people, and the Legacy Award itself is actually, I think it's something that I think any cast member, when you've worked for a few years, it's that you get a different name badge. It's a blue badge, which is shiny, big new blue badge, and it's got Legacy Award on it. And I just think for both,
and it's the 3 words. It's to dream, create, and inspire.
Yeah.
And it's I remember also someone else that got the Legacy Award earlier in the year was a photographer from Hollywood Studios.
Yes.
And the amazing photographer whose name I cannot remember off the top of my head.
But when I saw that and just looked more into what the Blue Legacy sort of meant, and then like understanding from a cast member perspective, and then obviously with like Joshua Morg last year working for the Disney company and being cast members for a few months, and it's just that sort of dedication and what they do. And there's not a time that we go to Magic Kingdom that I'm not looking for Grayson, and the same with Animal Kingdom that I'm hoping we're going to see Finding Nemo and see Katie.
Yeah,
it's just something now that with a blue tag you're going to notice.
Yeah, I think that's the thing with Katie though, is because she's actually in costume. You'll never see the name badge. But it means so much to her, and whereas we never see her with the name tag on, and this is a bizarre thing because you actually assume that this is the only role. She actually has a job. She works 3 separate jobs, not only doing Finding Nemo and as Dory, but she actually works for the educational part of Disney, which is a lot of which is backstage and involves training cast members, dealing with people who are coming in either on basic from schools and colleges, etc., and universities, and actually trying to relay to them the values of Disney as well. And I think quite a lot of the part with her will come from that. And then the third job she has is another completely separate job, but it's on a more of a management kind of thing, but not for Disney. And actually works freelance, and I don't know if she has time.
I was going to say, it sounds like she's very
busy lady.
I sat down with her and said, "Look, I really want you to come back on the show." All right, I said, "Well, I can." I said, "But just," and that was after saying, "Where did we want to go for?" We went for drinks. We went to Nomad Lounge, but But she gave me a list of about 8 different places. And in true me style, I just turned around and said, "Oh, no, you choose." Yeah, I'm completely indecisive, which I knew she'd hate because she's not very decisive either. So it became a starting point for the conversation. But oh goodness, it was just it was just a lovely person, such an amazing accolade, and a sense of pride for both of them. I'm going to move us on because I could talk about Katie and stuff like that all night, but I won't give that away. We will get her back on the show. Now, in the past few days, we've seen Tron turning from blue to red, which for anyone who's listening and watching in the Liverpool area, but the derby game this weekend, that would maybe cause a little bit of a problem in that city regarding football teams. So
I think it's a really good thing for Disney to do something different.
Yeah, I do.
When they announced it was really unexpected. I hadn't thought that it would be something they do. I thought, oh, the lights are there, they won't change them. It'll be as it is. But
the promotion for their new film.
Yeah, which is out next month.
If they can, they might as well.
So,
do you think moving forward, then that could be something that you could change it night by night?
Yeah, just get it.
Different teams.
Oh, that's an interesting thing what they could do. I've just got this vision of like Disney sort of capitalizing on like advertising revenue, and you're going to get just like as you go on Tron, just different companies sort of promoting.
Yeah, there you go.
I can give them ideas.
I don't know.
Hang on. Well, we'll
we're still good red and blue.
Let's trademark that just now, and if it does happen, we'll just go for the 10%, Ben. That's all right.
If it does happen, let's have the GBMW logo.
Yeah,
and maybe our theme tune as well.
Yeah, that'd be good. I think that would fit. That leads us perfectly into the next bit of news, because on the 21st of September, because of the lyrics within the song September, Guardians will play only one song.
The best song?
No, I hate September. I really do.
We've had
September.
The first one we had was September, but we've not had it since.
Really? I keep getting it. I think it's having revenge on me for having to go home.
We need to go back and
we still need to get 2 songs.
Yeah.
We'll
get there eventually.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's the only other one.
But definitely won't go on the 21st of September because I've already got that one.
Yeah, I thought they could have been a bit more original.
Yeah,
but that's another show. I'll make a note of that. Songs that we should have on Guardians.
Yeah,
that could make a whole show, but we wouldn't be able to
play
any
other attractions as well.
What songs should they put on the new Muppets roller coaster in Hollywood Studios?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. There you go. Yeah. That's a planning meeting for this month. Done and dusted.
Yeah.
There you go. Don't tell Robin and Simon and Claire. That's it. We're sorted for next month. Going to move on. Disney YouTube are showing the second in the Imagineer that series with Tom Morrow 2.0 investigating how do Imagineers make mountains. And I've got to say, when I saw this, it just pinged up on my phone. I thought, oh, what a great idea for a show that is. It's brilliant. So again, I think this is only the second in the series of Imagineer that. But it's absolutely brilliant. So go and have it once we've finished. Don't go now.
I was going to say, I haven't had a chance to watch this series yet.
No,
yeah.
I know they've had one recently about castles.
Yeah. So yeah, well worth a watch. Anyway, I've lasted 20 minutes without going there. So I'm going to go from mountains. It leads us seamlessly into the mountains of stuff in Magic Kingdom. So is Magic Kingdom still magical? Answers on a postcard. If you're in the chat, join in the fun. Because I'm going to delve in to the question that I've been wanting to share since we came back, because actually it's just at the moment visually, Magic Kingdom is just a place where it'll break your heart just looking at the rivers of America and just the plywood boards that just sort of line so much of the park, and you just think, who actually signed this off? And also, they've not really done an awful lot. So let's look at the logistics of this. Could they not have done more of the backstage stuff, and actually even just kept that area, with given the fact it's summer, so you've got a little bit more air, and you've got a queue line for Haunted Mansion, which when we first turned up was absolutely like a sauna, and
It's
it was
not
really
great, is it?
No, it was awful. Oh, there you go. That's a nice photo as well.
That was the picture we took on our first time Magic.
It was awful. It was.
What I don't understand is why they boarded up half of it and left half of it open for everyone to see.
Yeah.
What's the point?
Yeah.
What the irony is, though, last week there was a picture shared, I think, on blogmickey.com, and because of typical Florida weather, that had been recently drained.
Yeah.
It had started to fill itself back up, and the pumps were covered in water that was supposed to be taking all the water out.
Yeah.
So maybe Mother Nature's way of going like, no,
We're
keeping the water where it's supposed to be. I can't.
I read.
It's going to be a
the same
difficult
one.
challenge.
Yeah, but also it begs the question, and this is where the engineering side of this comes in. That actual piece of Magic Kingdom actually drained away an awful lot of surface water from the park itself.
Yeah.
So, if you actually look at where it is, it's actually taking a lot of that rainwater and the storm water when it drains from basically from that whole side of the park, because even when you look towards Peter Pan and Small World, there's a slope as you're going up towards them. So again, all that rainwater heads to the lowest point. And this is the bit that frustrates me, because you really feel that there should have been a lot more thought before they even started sort of.
I think they've probably got to the point where they need to start it, and it's probably going to be a long process.
Yeah,
and
they got the skates on though, Ben. Yeah, and this is the bit that's annoying, because actually you look at how Universal go about it. They close something 2 days later, everything's to get knocked down. In the case of Rip Ride Rocket, it was basically being dismantled, and they were doing the groundwork for what's going in next before it even shut.
We were there a couple of days before it closed.
Yeah.
And then we saw the next time we were there, only a few days later, how much of the track had already been removed.
Yeah.
It was ever moving really quickly. And I know we didn't mention this in the news, but the Lost Continent in Islands of Adventure has had sort of filings for demolition and for stuff to be sort of worked on. And just today, all of the is been boarded off already. So it's something that Disney is probably quite methodical and just very patient with how things are taking. Because when we looked at Animal Kingdom, and you've seen how much of Dino Land has been boarded off for work on the Tropical of Americas, and it's boarded off. You can't see it unless you're tall enough. You're going to look over it. The thing is with this, we walked around. We saw. We went onto Tiana's. Wasn't focused and looking. We were enjoying the ride. But then we walked around to Big Thunder Mountain, wished it was open, as we always do. That's not open till next year. And then walking back around, we thought, let's walk along and just
along that path.
Yeah, just where the riverboat was. And it was like, oh, it's open. Why is it partly blocked off and not? It just seems really, really weird, unless it is some sort of accessibility but from
maybe
not from there.
From a construction point of view, it wouldn't make sense not to just block it all off so no one can see it.
Yeah, it goes beyond that though, and I think as well. I think apart from the visual bit, apart from the fact that when they first drained it, it stank. It absolutely stank. It was actually was very difficult to be in the park in that particular area, because obviously there's years and years worth of goodness knows what. I'll put it that way. Probably umpteen turkey legs and things like that have gone in there.
Just over 50 years. It's interesting, and that's probably what it's so difficult for us to think about such a huge change
Yeah.
to the park.
Yeah, it is, and actually, I think if you go on that, and the fact that Big Thunder isn't open this year, and you've got no Buzz Lightyear on the other side of the park, there's no full circle tour of the Magic Kingdom from the railroad, and I still have problems with Tiana. I really,
Is it more like it's the positioning of where it is because it doesn't feel like it fits in Frontierland?
there's that, but it's not Splash Mountain, and it hasn't got that fun side to it. I went, and I deliberately went with a completely open mind again this year, because I got into trouble with a couple of people last year who said, "Oh, you were just too much in a single-minded mind about it not being Splash Mountain." So I thought, and they did explain to me there are things within the queue line that explain a bit more about the story and things like that. It still left me completely cold. Although I will admit, whoever who works for Disney, who maybe listens to the show and knew that I was going on and put me in the front row, where I got absolutely soaked to the skin. I think, and we went on it three times again to try to make it click visually and mentally with me, and it didn't. I still came off, and I still was wishing myself a zippity doo dah day, like, you know.
For what a good film Princess and the Frog is, it's frustrating that, and Hannah's just mentioned in his comment, it would have been better with Dr. Facilier and the having the song ready for the drop. It would just make so much more sense.
But it wouldn't fit with the story that they're telling on the ride. The ride is set after the film.
Yep. That is,
and after he's been defeated.
But then
so having him in there wouldn't make any sense.
It's one of those things. They're maybe saving him for Villain's Land, and let's be hopeful of that.
I mean, I don't think the story is any more confusing or complicated than what a Splash Mountain story was.
Yeah.
I think it's more accessible for the younger generation who wouldn't have even heard of Song of the South, let alone seen the film, when they would have been Tiana's and the Princess and the Frog.
I think, as with a lot of things, there's always a reason for things to change.
I also think, and this is more of a hope than a think, but I hope that when Piston Peak is finally finished, the greenery from that will fit in, make Tiana fit in slightly more.
Yeah, I want to hope it's a long-term thought process. So actually, the sidelines.
I don't think so, Ben.
It's not.
I don't think someone's that clever. I really don't. No. I wish they were. I honestly do wish they were. But I think that the actual makeover of the mountain itself, it just strikes me as being done on the cheap, and actually, it looks pretty when it's lit up at night, but it's still
not Splash Mountain.
It's not.
I tell you what is really interesting is riding that, but then also having a chance this year to ride it in Disneyland, where it's like in Critter Country. It makes sense where it is. I like it. I think it's more suited for Disneyland than it is for Disney World.
Yeah.
I just think it was we're doing two at the same time. Let's do them on both coasts. I much would have rather than kept Splash Mountain, because I have to admit the new sort of log flume ride that's from Disneyland Paris looked exactly like Splash Mountain. That's going to be Lion King thing,
wasn't it? Just and actually, that would be a great fit within Magic Kingdom, because actually it would then widen out the IP. Yeah. And this is a bit that, and again, another reason for wanting to go on Tiana's this year was again to have that extra look as you come in up the first lift, and then you get a really nice view across the Tom Sawyer Island. And I really do find that bit. I'm a bit geeky like that. I really do find that, if I can go and get a different view.
Do you know what? I'm just reading Mark's comment here. Totally understand that people feel underwhelmed Magic Kingdom because of the 15-year rebuilding phase, but it has to be done. It's a good time to explore the Disney parks worldwide. Yeah, so actually, there are plenty of And when you think how much stuff is happening at Magic Kingdom that has been announced bit by bit.
Yeah.
And-
This is the this is the bit, and I think Mark, you've tapped into exactly where my mind's at the moment with Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
And I think we've seen how long it took for them to build Tron, and the excuses for that were because of COVID, and then because
financial impact,
and then because of the impact, but also about getting materials, and then about labor. This is actually going to take, I think, way longer, but they've got so much on the cards at the moment. So again, they're trying to do Big Thunder. They've put the boards up to do this project. They've got Buzz Lightyear to finish. They've got the railroad to obviously
return back to where it is once.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's only just, and then we've got Carousel of Progress once they go into manipulating the start scene and that. So that's just within that park.
Yeah.
We've still got building work in Animal Kingdom, which again is going such a slow pace. And you're thinking, hang on, are they actually biting off too much? And I know the probability is they think that maybe the crowds will be down because of the Epic effect.
Yeah.
So let's get all the bad stuff out the way. Let's get ourselves refreshed so that when people are bored with Epic, we can get people back in. I really struggle with that at the moment. I really think there's no real thought for those people who are going for the very first time, and you know, you could lose somebody forever.
It's a bit like, as we mentioned last week, about someone's first impression of going to Epic Universe.
Yeah.
And then actually, if things are down, then you're more limited in what you're going to do, and then that's your impact you get.
Yeah.
I think the same thing feels like at Magic Kingdom. We did Magic Kingdom quite a few times this trip.
Yeah.
And there was times we went in there and we gone like, oh, actually we can't go and buzz. We can't do what we would normally do because Big Thunder's closed. But what really shocked me was the atmosphere I felt when we were in Frontierland and near Tiana's, and just I didn't hear the riverboat, didn't hear screams from Big Thunder Mountain, and
there wasn't much.
Yeah, it felt really, really odd. So I'm looking forward to
it was kind of flat as well.
Yeah, what atmosphere we're going to get from Piston Peak and Villains Land.
Yeah,
I think Villains Land will be very atmospheric.
Yeah.
I'm
thinking we've only had concept art.
Exactly.
It's going to be difficult, and it's difficult to look at when we look back the last 5 years from Disney's sort of track record of building. When you look compared to Universal, who
built a whole
theme park. Imagine if they hadn't funded Tron or Guardians, but actually decided that we're going to focus and we're going to have a brand new theme park instead of building all these extra hotels. Yes, some of them are incredible, but actually, what if they did a fifth gate? They could have had Piston Peak. You could have had, but they've gone down that route of we're focusing on expanding the current land, on the current lands, and refreshing and changing. But eventually, they're going to get to a point where they can need more capacity in these parks.
That's a great call. I think as well, and going back to where we're talking about in the news section about legacy.
Yeah.
But what's been ripped out in Magic Kingdom is Walt's legacy.
Yeah.
And that's the bit that hurts me more than anything else, is the fact that, you know, it's one of Walt's big things was about, and the whole Disney principle with the first, you know, it's about show. At the moment, the show part of that is absolutely diabolical.
Yeah. And
secondly, that whole bit about Walt's kind of innocence and naivety, you know, let's face it, you know, who would put a riverboat and a Tom Sawyer Island in a theme park? But actually, it made a visual statement and made a statement of, you know, natural beauty still has a place within the modern world, irrespective of how you want to look.
Yeah.
You want to look forward into Tomorrowland, you want to look backward into Frontierland. That natural beauty still exists, and I feel that for me was the bit I missed most of all. It was that sense of space within Magic Kingdom, that sense of just the bit, it's difficult to describe because it probably doesn't happen the same for other people. But as you come out of like Hall of Presidents and you're looking across to where the steamboat used to be, and in a way your shoulders kind of just drop, and your whole body just sort of has that moment where you're just like, I'm at one, I'm at peace. It's not just about the castle, it's about everything that's there, and you just have this space where you're lost within the sight and the sound.
You're just in that Disney bubble.
Yeah.
Like, okay, no matter what's going on in the world can bother you because I'm here, I'm soaking in this atmosphere, everything. So you feel home, you feel right. And it's interesting, and I think Magic Kingdom hasn't had this much sort of investment and focus on development. This is the first time, and it's probably well overdue, like Mark said. And it's it is challenging for Disney to actually go like, we are going to tackle this park. It's overdue.
They need balance.
One of the surprising things to come out from the D23 event was Carousel of Progress.
Yeah.
And I am so glad to see that, because they could easily have gone like, oh, this is another attraction that when you look at the spreadsheet just goes, no, it doesn't get the footfall, people are using it just to have a nap. Is it something that we should keep? But actually, no, they're investing. They are hopefully improving on the animatronic that they use in Disneyland. And it's going to be a different sort of Walt in its time. Yeah.
I also feel that I've got to say that was, for me, that was one of the positives of the whole summer. And actually, I think because people were very aware that, I felt this over the past few years, when you've gone there, people are making an effort to go and sit in the carousel just purely out of the fact that they better not touch this, they better not do it. And actually, if they do a bad job of it, that again, it would be such a kick in the teeth to Walt's legacy of what he left behind and what he actually was involved in the actual original design of. And you can't get it wrong. You really can't. It's just, it's one part of the park that you're just thinking, just don't mess this up. Please just don't mess it up and don't make it so PC that it becomes completely ridiculously.
Claire's comment when we spoke about Epic last week, there was a lot of concrete, being a brand new park, not as many trees. Magic Kingdom doesn't have that, but maybe the removal of the space with everything there, and we're now going to add concrete to it. As long as we've got these spaces that we can go.
In theory, Piston Peak is supposed to be a national park. So in theory, that means there will be
with a cars theme,
trees, and
as long as it's better than what's in Disneyland Paris, that's all I
hiking trails. But there'll be, trees and landmarks, and it's not going to be just concrete.
I think as well, and I think we did mention this last week, and Epic itself, for all the concrete, they've got fountains, and they've got bigger and better fountains that Epcot should have had they actually decided that they were going to retain the semblance of what was there as well. So again, another little bit where I know I say this each week, but Universal are just laughing, and they're just thinking there's so much being tried to be being done within each of the Disney parks right now that it rather than just focusing on Magic Kingdom or Animal Kingdom, they're just trying to do an awful lot without making significant progress visually right now. And I think that's a real danger sign for me, because actually you're at the wrong time. What I was going to say before is going back to someone on their very first trip, it doesn't matter how old they are. You could be talking about a young child who goes into Magic Kingdom for the first time, or you could be looking like somebody who's a little bit older going into Magic Kingdom, not having that feeling of being completely and utterly blown away by it that pulls you back. And it happened to me. I was, I openly admit I was never ever going to be a big Disney fan ever. Because I was too cynical, and I just thought, nah, not for me.
Yep.
I walked in there one day, and it just absolutely blew me to pieces. And that's going back years now. It's cost me an awful lot of money ever since. However, it goes from that first occasion, and from there you build. I know Neil's not in the chat. He's probably watching Liverpool or something like that. I think his travel agency, Portwood Travel, used that. Was it turning magic into memories? And that's what Magic Kingdom used to be able to do.
Yeah.
And it's going to have to get an awful lot better to actually be able to grab back those people that they've lost over. We're only talking a matter of months.
Yeah.
That this has actually happened, and I think really, something has to move quite quickly.
Yeah.
I think this is another thing as well.
Yeah, I think it's something we're going to have to get used to, and it's really interesting. Just over the years that we've been visiting Disney World, I remember there was always this laugh of them using go away green paint on things so that things wouldn't be in view.
That was what looked weird at Magic Kingdom. Those panels weren't in go away green.
They're bright white and going like, oh, look at me. And then when you walked around, like they were missing half of them. But maybe it was the timing we were there. Like you said, John, it was only sort of on that day that you went to Haunted Mansion and they hadn't had the fans put in. And it was all of that change.
It was hot.
But I have to admit, we went to Magic Kingdom this year and I absolutely loved the park.
Yeah.
No matter how much we've moaned about what's currently happening, I absolutely had one of the best times.
Can I just thank Mark Sheffield, because actually some of Mark's comments in the chat now. This is, and this probably I'll read it out because if you're listening to the podcast, he's actually nailed it about Carousel Progress, and I think this is the bit where our enjoyment of Magic Kingdom this summer came from, and I think you alluded to this as well, Ben, has come from different places. We have always loved Carousel of Progress. Even before the D23 event, I didn't know what was going to be announced. However, I still went, and I still, each and every time we go into Magic Kingdom, I have to go and ride this. But Mark's actually shared with us some really, really interesting facts. And actually, it's about the fact it doesn't actually appear as if it's a very busy kind of attraction. However, its hourly capacity is at 3,600 people an hour. Is the highest attraction capacity in the park. And every time the carousel rotates in 4 minutes and 40 seconds, over 200 people have the opportunity to disappear from Tomorrowland. Now, in theme park terms, that is an awful lot of movement, isn't it? And
imagine if that had when that does close, where are those people going to go during that refurbishment?
It's going to make Magic Kingdom busy.
Yeah.
But hopefully it won't take them long to.
I wonder.
Close it and install him.
Yeah, I also wonder whether Buzz Lightyear will open, and then Carousel Progress will close, because that's somewhere in Tomorrowland that you can get quite a lot of people on.
Yeah, I think it'll take a bit of time. Mark, can I just say thank you so much for that information, because actually, and that's really where the chat becomes part of the show, and I really do enjoy that part of it as well. I actually feel that I think we could actually do a whole thing about redesigning the whole of Tomorrowland in some respects, because actually, I know we mentioned it in the show about 6 months ago about there's maybe an issue as regarding the concrete and the type of concrete that's used within the Stitch, the old Stitch show and things like that. I mean, you might as well just reopen that and just be done with it and make the most of it.
Yeah, that's true.
If it's still in there.
But what I am going to say, and this is taking us into the magic part of it, and I think this really for me is, you got the sense from cast members, irrespective of what attraction they were on or whatever the remit within the park was, they knew that they had to work extra hard this summer, and they did. And irrespective of where they were, and cast members, I know, I think we talk about them in the start of October show, but they really went to the nth degree. Jungle Cruise and Haunted Mansion cast members. I know Josh and Morg's flatmate spotted us the very first time we were in Magic Kingdom, and we'd only met him twice or something last year, but he was standing there, spotted us, and we ended up having a 20-minute conversation. But he remembered so much about Josh and Morg. And when you're just like, hang on a minute, this is like 12 months down the line. You don't really need to be talking to us about, and he was genuinely wanting to know, genuinely pleased to see us.
Wow.
And I'm thinking that is, that really does sort of take it's a real sense of pride in the park. And to be honest, we hadn't expected to see him. We thought he'd be well out of Magic Kingdom by now. But he stayed on. And similarly with Jungle Cruise cast members, the cast members are the people who make this park what it is. And that became much more apparent this year because they still have that absolute pride in being on the rides and being in the places in the park that they just love. And I know we chatted about this a couple of weeks ago, Ben, but even for the two of us to be stood watching Grayson at exactly the same moment in time and not really being aware of each other's presence, but being more taken by the music.
Yeah. For me, this trip in Magic Kingdom was all about live entertainment. So it was looking on the app, knowing when there'll be someone playing the piano. So Grayson. Then we were watching. I remember in the August heat, just watching the Main Street Philharmonic, and then Dapper Dan's, and then just having an opportunity to we do a lot of these later in the trip, and just to get a different experience. And just every time we go and watch Grayson, there's always it's always a different show. It's so incredible what he does. I remember the first time when we were there that Mary Poppins and Bert walked by, so Grayson changed the music he was playing, and it was lovely. It really was. And that's the thing that made Magic Kingdom one of my favorite parks this trip, because going into it, I remember I said in a few shows before we went that I wasn't sure, with everything closing, with lots of change in the park, was it going to live up to sort of what I wanted? And I have to admit it did. But I had to go and look for where these things were and the times. It wasn't an attraction, it wasn't a space I was looking for, it was knowing when this live entertainment was happening. And we still mention, and we still do not know why the trolley show is still not in Magic Kingdom.
Absolutely. Yeah, here.
So if anyone from Disney's listening, they need to be next on the list.
As well, I think this is, again, I know we've got people from America who are absolutely long-standing viewers and listeners to this show. I actually ended up watching the and by accident more than anything else. I was just in the right place at the right time. But for Flag Retreat, and I know I've mentioned this before, I just love the whole ceremony of it. But it just, I videoed it once. I couldn't bring myself to video. I think about three times I saw it, purely from the fact I just don't. I turn into like a blubbering wreck. And like I shouldn't. I'm British, and I shouldn't have that level of connection with what is a beautiful part of the day within Magic Kingdom. And again, if people have missed it, go and seek it out at 5 p.m. Might be earlier as the clocks change and things like that. It's just beautiful. Absolutely. I've got a whole video. I might keep it and we'll share it as a shared Wednesday as we just do Flag Retreat and what it's all about.
I remember when we were in Disneyland earlier the year, and we took the time to just, and it was at 5 p.m. It was just standing there and just something that you don't think about. And when you look at the times guide, you go, oh, what's that? Yeah. It's not something that you normally set aside for. If you're there, you might catch it, but just if you do get a chance to see it, definitely spend the time.
Yeah, I'm just going to pick up a couple of people in the chat. Samantha, I'm totally with you. Magic Kingdom will always have a heart, and probably my wallet as well while it's at it. But I'll go with also what Hannah's saying at the moment, and that the attention to detail is slipping. And I think that is what makes Disney, or has made Disney, what they are. And if they lose sight of that, that's when the magic will be lost forever.
It feels like it's a financial impact.
Yes.
So it's something someone going like, oh, this isn't making. We can save a little bit here by cutting this, and like the trolley show, for example, or like Hannah said about the train show going at the welcome show, how that changed from being on the train, how that changed then moving to the castle.
Oh, I think that had more to do with health and safety in space.
Possibly, but there's reasons for these things to happen, and we don't want to lose the magic. And I think that's the focus that Disney needs to try and do while managing all these multiple projects. I can't imagine that anyone being a project manager of things like they've had to do over the past sort of year or couple of years. When you think of what they're doing now, there's so much thing that when they were doing Test Track, which I know we talked about, which will be out in a future podcast where we shared our thoughts on the Test Track new over. But also all these things take up cost. There's a lot of cost. There's lots of people involved.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see what Magic Kingdom, or the future Magic Kingdom looks like.
Yeah.
Because we've been going to the park since 2013. We have our ideal Magic Kingdom. And one thing this year that came back was the nighttime parade.
Yes. I think generally people are scared of change.
Yeah.
And I think once the change is here,
I think bad
some
change.
people won't like it anyway because
I think bad
they're just
change
resistant.
is what we're resistant to. It's that
It's
lack of
experience,
trust.
isn't it? If you've had a bad change, like John, like you said about going from Splash Mountain to Tiana's, doesn't sit right for you. But
But that's
actually,
not a bad change.
no.
It is when you didn't want it to change in the first place.
That's the difference. It's nostalgia versus progress.
Yeah.
And you can't keep something stuck in the 1950s just because you liked what it was, especially if people aren't using the space.
Yeah.
What's the point of having something there that no one's using and no one's going to?
I think we can all agree that Tom Sawyer's Island needed to go.
And unfortunately, to get rid of Tom Sawyer's Island, it meant you had to get rid of the riverboat.
Yeah.
And the river.
And the river.
So, but one positive,
it is an unfortunate side effect, but
sometimes things come back around. Remember when we spoke about the hat from Hollywood Studios?
Yeah.
That's now coming back to Hollywood Studios next year.
It might be that they find they can put all of Piston Peak on that space where Tom Sawyer Island is, and then they can put the river back in the river.
Not what I thought you were going to say. Or they're going to put all of Piston Peak on the riverboat.
And sail it down the river. That would be it. Yeah.
If we don't like it, you can move along.
Yeah.
I just want to say a quick hello to the Wandering Andinos. Welcome.
Hello.
Oh, welcome. Oh, see, there you go.
And I do agree that there now needs to put a lot more focus on the detail on cruise ships and the parks. And I have to admit, when you think of the Disney Adventure that's out next year, you've got the Treasure, the Destiny, they've recently had the Wish. The ships look incredible. I can't wait to see them put that same effort maybe in the parks. And maybe that's what we're starting to see, where maybe Disney paused the parks so they could focus on the cruise ships. Because
it's actually going to come the other way. Yeah.
Not sure they can repurpose the riverboat for a cruise ship.
No, but as long as they repurpose it for something, that would be.
Just put it somewhere.
Yes.
Let's put it in Disney Springs. There's a very big lake in Disney Springs. They could just put it on.
Yeah.
Put it there.
Just beware of the scuba diver.
Yeah.
I left that
They don't
out.
turn it into a restaurant and take any money. They'll be fine.
Yeah, I left it out the news. I thought it was going to be a little bit too negative if I mentioned about.
I thought it was an April Fool when I read it yesterday. I really did.
Yeah,
so if anyone wanted to know, the paddlefish had, was it $20,000 stolen?
Yeah.
By
a scuba diver. Right. Who was described as wearing a beanie hat and it just all doesn't fit
That's
in.
scuba
It's just
diving gear.
I mean, my
It's
first
just
thought
like,
was,
it's
how did Meek
bizarre.
get eaten by an
It's like-
alligator?
Yeah.
Yes, that was the other bit as well. But
All I'm thinking is that
anyway.
security might be updating at Saratoga Springs, possibly.
yeah, can I just come back to Mark as well? I just, for someone who is such a wonderful poster on Facebook of so many different, and again, just uplifts your day. If you see any of Mark's posts and things like that, it's just the fact that he spends so much time in the park. Your information tonight, Mark, I really, really appreciate you joining us. I really appreciate just that positivity you've got, and actually that ability to actually highlight the fact that it really is that whole fact that this is a long-term rebuild, that we're on the cusp of. We're not even, this is going to be years worth of Great British Mickey Waffle having a good complaint about the state of Magic Kingdom. Yeah. But Mark, I will keep up with that. Next time we're in Walt Disney World, I'll definitely meet up with you, and we'll share a chat, because actually I love the stuff that you post, and it is always that bit where you just sort of, I always have to click on, I always have to like it, and I always have to go, I know where I'd rather be rather than going to work today. So
everyone who's been in the chat today, but I'm loving Heather's comment about the scuba diver robbery. It's like something like Mission Impossible.
It is. and Heather was first in the chat as always tonight as well, and I think we've been remiss of people in the chat over the past few weeks, because we've had so much that we wanted to say. Well, I think we also missed, was it Robert Sprite he looks like he comes from Canada.
And
I'm just trying to scroll through.
Wendy.
And Wendy joined us earlier as well. I'm not sure if you're still, some people can only just dip in, or I'm just aware that the boss comes in. When you mid-afternoon in America, and you're like, you're ninja watching or ninja listening whilst pretending to work on the keyboard and stuff like that. So there you go. But just a massive thank you, because actually for us, having the sharing the conversation and you actually joining the chat just makes it for us, because actually that's the fun of why we do this on a Wednesday. And it kind of changes our week. If we're having a bad week, we come and do this, and actually you go to work on a Thursday and you feel, this will see me through to Friday.
I was going to say.
Anyway, we've got nearly an hour in, right? I was going to try and run to time, right? So I've not mentioned, and we really should, because we haven't mentioned it in any show that we've done so far.
No.
And we were fortunate enough to see it. So go on, take it away, guys. Tell us what you think of the new nighttime parade.
Oh, I loved it. It was incredible. It really was. And we got a chance we're only due to going in August. It took us several attempts to go and see it. I remember the first time we were there, we were ready. We got up Starlight popcorn, and then announcement, due to inclement weather, the Starlight parade is cancelled, and that didn't help. So, but when we eventually got a chance to see it, we did see it with Samantha, who's in the chat tonight. And it was incredible. I was blown away by it. And it's been such a long time since there's been a nighttime parade at Walt Disney World, apart from obviously the Booty parade that's in the Halloween party and the Christmas one. But I think it was incredible. And there was just so many nods to previous parades.
Yeah.
And I've seen a lot of chat online about it. And a lot of people who've been to Disneyland say Paint the Night is better. But without being able to see Paint the Night this time. So Starlight's was incredible. John, I want you to say what your thoughts are on it, because I know every time we mention a nighttime parade and Spectro Magic.
Yeah. It wasn't Spectro, I'll put it that way. I'll get that. I'll get that out the way first and foremost.
Yeah.
What got me, and this is where both my view and Claire's view kind of differ. Claire didn't like it, and I think Claire thought it was. Claire actually thought it was just lazily done. I can see that, but I actually see I think there's room for improvement. I'll put it that way. However, on the first couple of viewings, it brought back something into Magic Kingdom that has been long time missing, and that is the bit where you gather prior to the parade. Now, if you're at a Halloween party, that's fine. You get that to some extent, but this is actually, it's different when you know it's an everyday sort of parade, and you've got that whole nighttime, just that change in the park where people are gathering. You then know it's fireworks. You then know you may be going, or like we did the fireworks, and then we went to the parade. But it's getting to talk to people, and it's getting to share. And this is the bit that really does sum up why Magic Kingdom is such a special place. It's not a place where people are going just for the drinks. They're not going for the alcohol option. They're going purely from the magic. And I think obviously the opening of the Pirates themed bar,
Beacon Barrel,
is actually, I think is to the detriment in that respect. However, if I can go for a beer inside Magic Kingdom, I'll take that. I just feel that it brings back something.
Yeah.
Because when you go for the fireworks, like it or not, if you certainly head to the hub, I know Claire is not the greatest fan of going into the hub to watch fireworks because it just gets too busy. But it becomes very competitive as to who's standing in which space and who's having this, and the elbows come out, and it's a bit of and then someone puts a child up on the shoulders, and it's not pleasant. The parade is different, and it always has been. You meet people, you get a chat with people, you get to know where they're from, you get a little bit of a a bit of their Disney backstory, and
you're not finding everyone's trying to find that perfect spot. Or that perfect, where when you're looking forward, when you're in the hub, when you're looking at the castle, when you're in Main Street, everyone's sort of like trying to work out where am I going to be on to get the best view of the fireworks and the projections. Yeah. With the parade, it's coming past you. And what I noticed on this parade was how interactive some of the performers were between the floats. But the only downside was there wasn't enough.
Yes.
There needed to be more.
I think that's my biggest thing. I think that's where the room for improvement comes. But I think they desperately needed something before everyone was just like, we're paying so much for a day at Magic Kingdom. You've put all these boards up. You're destroying Rivers of America. You've got nothing new. It's let's get something new in. Let's get something, and again, change that mantra from being one of negativity into being one where, okay, we've got something back. And I think that's where we're at. I still, I actually think that I actually felt that the later parade was a better option. But it always has been, even when Spectro ran as 2 times. The second parade, you just had miles more space. And actually, after fireworks, people still make that option of, if you've been in for a long time in the day, it is your signal to get your kids out.
What was quite interesting was we were staying at the Polynesian, so we got across to Magic Kingdom while the first parade was going on.
Yeah.
So once we got through the turnstiles, lots of people were leaving, and I was really impressed how the cast members the crowd management was working, how they were getting people out of the park, people who wanted to stay around or go in for the fireworks and late parade were in, and we were just kept separate. It was done really well. So it felt like actually when we went into the confectionery, got some snacks before, we got our spot for the fireworks, it felt like we had more space. It didn't feel like as crowded as if there wasn't a parade on, how busy it would be with everyone waiting for those 10 o'clock fireworks.
I think that's a good call, Ben, because I think having been out of practice with there not being a nighttime parade, my biggest fear was the fact that, the space would be limited to the extent that they'll just turn around and say, "Oh, this isn't a parade. It's not for Magic Kingdom anymore."
Yeah.
It's just like when it gets to nighttime, it's just, which would be wrong, but
Yeah.
they would try and palm me off with that as an excuse. But I do like the fact that you can turn up at any point during the day, and irrespective, even if you feel that you're going against the tide of people leaving the park, you know that there's always going to be a way through, and that was always good to know that that's been well managed as well.
Do you think it's something that's going to stick around for a while? Because I
think it has to. I don't think there's any choice. And I'd love to see it being added to.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to see more floats. I'd love to maybe see them just play about with the music a little bit, but that's just me being selfish. I just feel that it just adds something different. Yeah. It doesn't quite have the wow factor.
It just adds a feeling back to Magic Kingdom that's been missed for quite a while, and with all the changes that are happening. I know where we were standing at Liberty Bell, we had all the construction, all the walls behind us. We didn't see any of that. We were just focused on the parade, and it was just nice to see.
I think, and I think as well, I think now we've got it back. Yeah. Now it's something that, again, step in the right direction. Again, this week, the Adventureland sign has actually come back after refurbishment.
Yeah.
That wasn't even announced. That just disappeared overnight. And it was just like, oh, when you just think, oh, what are they going to do now? And it's that, I think I go back to that there needs to be more trust.
You need to go, Disney should just be able to do these things, and we just go, they're fixing it, it's fine. They're updating something.
They're giving it a refresh, repaint.
Instead of just going, oh no, what are they doing now? What's this? And Claire's comment about the first and last floats reminds me a little bit of what we all feel, a lot of us feel of Luminous in Epcot. The beginning of is great. The end is great. The bit where it just dulls down in the middle isn't as good. So maybe just Disney
need to work on the middle part.
Maybe whoever's job it is for the middle parts of these shows has got something to work on.
Must try harder.
I think as well. I think we've got to understand. The Main Street Electrical Parade saw numerous different versions of that parade as it evolved over the years. Similarly, Spectro Magic evolved over time as well. I just feel it's just such a wonderful add back into Magic Kingdom, and a real mostly missed one ever since. I think
it, like Claire says, just needs more of a cohesive story.
I can see that.
I need to watch it again to see the story, because I don't remember much.
But no, what I also think needs updating, we didn't see it this trip, Fest of the Fantasy Parade. It's over 10 years old. Does it need an update?
Is it time for an update?
As
long as I don't get rid of Maleficent.
No.
I think as well, if you go back to that, I don't think the budget is there for them to start tinkering with that. Let's try and get the budget sorted for what's not there. To bring back some magic. At least that's a parade that actually.
At least it's still there.
It's still there, and it still has its own nice little steampunk references back to the old Epcot parades that we're never going to see them come back. Goodness,
no.
How we ever got them in the first place, I still wonder. But that's a whole different show, which I think we've done previously. I'm trying to think. I don't think there's an awful lot else apart from the fact that Speedway's still there, giving that glorious smell, which I know you guys.
I don't mind. I love it.
I just don't like the smell of petrol.
Or
diesel or whatever it is they use.
It probably goes back to my childhood when there was 4-star and you used to wind down the window in the back seat of the car as a kid just to smell the vapor fumes of
just a local petrol station.
Do
you know what, Mark? I completely forgot next year is the 55th anniversary of Walt Disney World.
We're not going next year. Oops.
Yeah.
Well, you never know.
No.
We have a cruise.
We've got a cruise book.
You've got a cruise.
Yeah.
we've got. I have a feeling we will return next August. I really do. I don't think. We won't. We're not sleeping easy at the moment, not having a countdown. But also, I think other members of the family are not sleeping easy at the moment because they missed out this year. They missed out this year.
Yeah.
And also, Morg and Josh are already making plans of how to hop onto not just our trip for next August, but also Claire and Dan's trip. He's like, oh,
Yeah.
we could come too. And it's just like, there you go. That'll see where that'll all take us and things like that.
Well, the way I'm thinking it, if the way Disney do anniversaries, sometimes they go on for longer than 12 months. If it doesn't start till next October,
Well, so even if it starts next October and lasts a year, that means we'll still get
We'll
the
see it in
celebration
May.
stuff in May.
Yeah. I'm with Wendy. I can't believe it's 5 years since it was the 50th as well. I just like
that's scary because I remember doing that 3-hour-long show, that live show.
Yeah. Bizarre,
Wow.
isn't it?
Jesus.
Absolutely bizarre.
Yeah. That's incredible.
That's scary.
Do you know what,
Time does fly.
guys? Yeah, it does. And I actually think it's probably a real good time to wrap up what we've been discussing, because actually the one thing I was trying to put some form of cohesive argument together without, and I think I've done well. I'll put my hand up and say I think I've done well tonight, because actually I haven't had an out and out rant, which is unusual. But I've been trying to be, sort of a little bit deeper thought about it. But I'm going to answer the question in the best way that I could think of it. And is the Magic Kingdom still magical? I think the magic is still there. Yeah. I think at the moment you have to look a lot deeper and a lot harder and a lot wider to actually find it right now. And that's that. Again, it comes back to that first time visitor. Yeah. Is it going to blow them away? I would like to think it probably would. I think once you've been a few times, I think you get a little bit picky, and you want it to be like the first time and like you remember it the first time. But the magic will always still be there. And I go back to the first time I returned last year, and just the look in my eyes. And like when I played the video, I couldn't quite believe myself as to that whole moment as you walk. And then when you guys did that live show for us, and just that walk underneath the railway tracks, and then suddenly you're in Town Square, and you've got the castle in front of you, you've got the sounds and the smells, and you're in a place where it has so many memories for all of us, for everyone who's listening and watching this. You'll all have your own special memories of different times in your life, and that can never ever be taken away. And as you walk up Main Street,
and it doesn't matter what
that whole experience
is. It doesn't matter whether it's pink or white or
a birthday cake.
Or a birthday cake.
Maybe not that one.
Yeah.
But it never leaves you, and I think that's the bit that it will always set Magic Kingdom apart. Yeah. And I think, as we've found in the chat as well tonight, we need to think longer term about the next, not the first 55 years, but the next 55, and actually making the park accessible and ready for the challenges that are to come, because undoubtedly the bar has been raised by Universal, and actually will be raised when Universal build their theme park in the UK, because I would imagine that will detract a lot of UK visitors either from going to Paris or even, heaven forbid, people actually going across to the United States to go and get
one of those things. Actually, if you can get to one slightly closer to home that's offering the same sort of thrills, but also Halloween Horror Nights, and people going to spend as much as going over to Universal for it.
Yes, the weather's better.
Yeah.
But you never know. It might impact, and I think it's everyone's choice to decide. They might change to Orlando every other year if there's something in the UK that you can spend and do the same as well.
Yeah, definitely. I know Matt Whiting's just snuck in the chat. The very last
Just
minute.
end.
It's
Yeah.
really nice. Thanks for joining us, Mark, as well. This is and this is what makes a Wednesday so special. And I know we said it earlier, but thank you all so much for being in the chat. Thank you for being part of the show. And if you're coming across us for the first time, I know that there's lots of people joining us for the first time. We have got a really nice and a friendly Facebook community called the Waffler's Arms. Go and check us out in there. You can carry on the conversation if you want, or join in the conversation, because actually that's what we like to do, and just share your own views. If you are one of those first-time watchers, make sure you like and subscribe. And then if you're on YouTube, like I got tonight when we went live tonight, because I'm subscribed, my phone sent me a little reminder that the Great British Mickey Waffle are live. It's Wednesday night, and so it pinged up on my phone. So subscribe, and you actually get that reminder as well. And also subscribe on the podcast in your podcast place of your preference, so that you basically, we're all on the one podcast stream. And I think that really is one thing that has really ignited this show going out on a podcast, because actually we're getting a lot more listeners as well. So again, if you're one of those, please come and join us in Waffle's Arm and introduce yourself. Mark Sheffield's going to finish the show for me. So fun fact, I should need my glasses. I always remember some things like construction can affect other parts and other attractions in the show for a few years temporarily. That's exactly it, man. And it's all temporary, because actually what we will still come back to is a theme park with a big castle in the Main Street. And then you go and just enjoy. I'm very much entitled to go and start going from the Carousel of Progress in there, because there's always a great big beautiful tomorrow. And I think that's a beautiful way to finish. So thank you guys for seeing me through and actually keep me on the straight and narrow. You've done a really good job there. So I appreciate it.
It's been a great show.
It has.
Love talking about Magic Kingdom, and I'm looking forward to seeing what we're going to speak about next time. So if anyone's got any ideas in the chat of what you want us to talk about, let us know. Send us a DM on any of our socials at GB Mickey Waffle, or drop it in the Waffler's Arms. But can't wait till next time.
Yeah, and we'll see you soon.
See you real soon.
Now my wheels